Here we are again in this wonderful cliffhanger situation. Let's find out what Michaela's going to decide completely by herself.
No, I was just going to give you my reasoning. Because I think Nathan has the sort of for one, the family thing, which is a problem, but it's also the stupidness of youth. David is picking on her, and Jefferson was also very cruel, so in a lot of ways I think they're more responsible as adults. So yes, ultimately the problem started with Nathan, obviously.
If you're talking about root causes, then yes. Also, Nathan is the only... If you blame Nathan here in front of all these people, and later on this sort of comes to a head, like I say, in terms of how seriously it'll be taken later, say there's a police investigation because Jefferson turns out to be the killer, then what happens here is important, because this is probably going to be documented somewhere as like an official meeting, or at least all these important people are going to remember it.
But then there's also the argument for consistently always saying it's Nathan. Do you think we should go for Nathan? Because I'm happy to go with you.
No, you have to decide. I'm just saying that's...
I'd be tempted to still go with Nathan, because we've already burned that bridge. We're already getting text messages from his dad. The worst he could do is run us out of town, and our parents already live in Seattle.
I guess, yeah.
And it would also actually support Kate. So, Nathan? You have to come with me on this.
Okay, since you've told me to come with you, yes, definitely Nathan.
Nathan
is the right choice. It's absolutely what I would do. Oh, you've paused it.
Oops. Is that what you would do?
Yeah, sure.
You're not going to give me
No.
Nathan dosed her.
Yeah, it's probably what I would have picked.
All I know is that Kate was at a party and Nathan dosed her. She got wasted and kissed some boys on a viral video without a clue.
I dosed her? Without a clue. Have you seen the video? Whatever. Kate was loaded and playing the field.
You told Kate you took her to the emergency room.
I said I was going to take her to the ER. She sobered up eventually.
Bullshit. Something happened to her and you know it. How about we talk about you waving a gun in the girls' bathroom?
That's total slander. I could sue you and this school so fast. I already have a personal lawyer.
Careful, Mr. Prescott. I have been told of this alleged gun incident, and I have to admit that the video in question was sent to me by multiple sources.
Including me.
And since Mr. Prescott does appear prominently in the video and was responsible for the party, I have no choice but to suspend him until further notice.
Whatever. See you in court.
Excuse me. I think Max and Nathan need a break before we grill them further. A friend and student just tried to kill herself. They don't need this forum right now.
Yes, I'm kind of devastated right now. I'd like to be with my family.
All right, Miss Caulfield.
Just give him a claw mark on the other fucking cheek.
What you've told us, I'll continue this investigation from there.
My head is killing me, but I think I can use my power.
Temptation to see the other options.
Yeah, if you want.
Shall we?
Also, this is bullshit. I mean, you wouldn't be in the same room as Nathan when you're asked about it anyway. No, we would never be in here.
Same as we wouldn't be in here with these guys. They'd talk to us all separately. It is a little bit cagey that Jefferson is so quick to go like, oh, no, wait. Because he's been acting cagey this whole episode. Would we like to say all three options? Because I would.
Well, you can either do that or can do it as an extras video if you are confident with your choice.
I'm confident, but I'm also really curious. Would you like it to be in the extras anyway?
I'm not bothered either way.
Okay, I'll just sign it.
Done with this episode of Law and Order.
Well, I think we know less now than when we started. We'll be assisting the police with further inquiries. I know this has been a stressful day. I wish I had the power to change it all for the better. So thank you for coming in.
I couldn't even believe it was happening. It was literally slow motion as I grabbed her hand. And then I could feel her grabbing mine.
Max, that was the greatest thing I've ever seen. Ever! You reached out, she reached out, hugs, tears, applause. Like a superhero.
Not quite. Look at me. I'm a mess.
You're glowing. Seriously, a human halo. I'm pretty sure you earned your wings today.
I'm still worried about Kate. She did try to kill herself. All over a video.
Viral is the right word. Like a disease.
So you watched it?
Just 1.5 times.
Warren, I don't mean to sound weird, but there's something ominous going on at Blackwell.
Today proves that.
And I'm working on proof that Kate Marsh is connected to Rachel Amber. Somehow. Along with Nathan and Mr. Madsen.
I'm not a big conspiracy guy, but I wouldn't doubt it. Nathan did scare me yesterday, and Madsen is a straight-up dickhead. So, what do you think is really happening?
What the hell is this? The weather confirms this weird day. Feel that chill.
Max, there was no eclipse scheduled today. I would know. I would.
I believe you, Warren. I'll believe anything this week.
And roll the credits.
Awesome, awesome. So I'm assuming we're going to have some extras.
Yes. But I wanted to talk about the principal first. Because he did what every very typical principal boss leader does, and kind of goes, well, this is what everyone else did wrong.
Yes, I suppose you did. It's interesting to see it that way.
Because what did the principal do wrong? He didn't take it seriously the first time. He called Nathan in. Nathan went, no, suing you. And then he went, oh. And then he contacted your parents and said, yeah, Max has been lying. And it's like, if he'd taken it more seriously in the first place, the whole debacle could have been completely avoided. He could have stopped Nathan from continually picking on Kate. Because obviously, Nathan made it worse.
Yes, because in a
as
lot
well
of
as
ways,
being the root incident.
a better approach even might have just been going, keeping an eye on it, even if you're not going to act proactively in one way or the other. Which is really what you're supposed to do, and not tell anyone. That's actually professional.
Same as he didn't say, when she ran away from your class, you should have called me and said, yeah, we've got a student gone missing. Or even security guy and said, can you make sure she's safe?
Yeah.
So there's any number of things that... So, he was right in a sense to tell off the other people, but he should have also accepted quite a lot of the responsibility himself. After all, what are head teachers for if not accepting responsibility? That's kind of what they're for.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Same as we did actually say that. I'm not sure we did all the right choices. I suspect that they were literally all the right choices, as in right on the screen, as in, circle.
I'm assuming part of it is that because we were actually quite sympathetic to Kate anyway throughout playing the whole way. Otherwise, if we never had, we wouldn't have had those options.
But it does seem to be that whenever we do an action that upsets Kate, it's actually the more useful option later on. If we'd been willing to upset Kate rather than being nice to her when she was being picked on by David Madsen, we could have presented the photo. On the other hand, if the game was consistent, we would have kept the photo anyway when we were around time.
Well, that's the thing, because we never tried that option first.
It doesn't work.
I don't think. It doesn't not.
No.
Oh, right, we tested that. Okay.
It's something that I don't think they considered. Also, I thought it was quite interesting that we had an eclipse, an unscheduled eclipse, which is of course impossible.
Maybe it's like the vortex that's forming is pulling in the moon.
Okay, but we know where the moon is, though, unless the moon is shifted out, in which case we'd notice that as well. It's a bit... Snow during summer is possible if rare.
Yeah.
Actually, not in the way it happened there,
because that's to do with the distance of the moon.
Yeah, the snow would have melted when it reached the ground, but there are situations where you can imagine it snowing on a hot day, and we've had snow in March and April and things like that. So that's very rare, but, feasible. But an unexpected eclipse kind of isn't, because the moon's in a place, and if it's not the moon, then what the hell is blocking the sun? Also, it's quite nice because we've just had a total eclipse of the sun, a total solar eclipse in the UK. And I saw it, I got a little picture of it smiling.
We saw it, it was super cool. Also, it's one of those things where it's snowing in Arcadia would only affect Arcadia. The moon moving would affect everywhere, so it's a bit...
Yeah, that's not a localised phenomena. Yes, the shadow from the moon is a localised phenomenon, but the whole moon would have to move.
Yeah.
And it's a bit like, not sure about that.
But yes, I'll be looking forward to seeing what happens next time.
Yeah. Hope it's got a better name. I was hoping for, Pupa and Chrysalis.
Well, because that would go with the whole butterfly thing, sort of the transitions.
Yeah, exactly. They've named all the episodes now, anyway.
They have. I think the next one is maybe Chaos Theory, but it says in the menu.
So there's going to be lots in it about corn and Slaanesh.
Well, because Chloe mentioned it. The other thing we'll be able to see after this is the table of people's choices, which I always think is interesting.
Well, not just that, but the teaser for the next episode.
Yes. Because it's one of those things where after a certain amount of time, I think the table of choices is less useful, because by that time everyone had just gone back and done all of them.
Yeah, so you suspect that what would start out... Well, we saw it happen with the first episode, and we played that quite late. But even then, there were stark differences between when we first played it and when we played it again, and evening up as people go back and replay and change their choices. So it's always interesting to see what other people have picked.
Oh, and I did think we did miss that picture, which was unfortunate, but I'll try and get it at some point. Just couldn't figure out how to get those beakers.
No, it's probably something dumb.
Probably.
We didn't try my suggestion of rewinding time a lot, because maybe if we got there before Warren.
Oh,
I'm not convinced it's that, though.
I did sort of predict in our personal conversations that at some point we wouldn't be able to rewind time. That didn't seem temporary. We could again in the office.
It was quite interesting that rather than rewind time, we managed to stop it.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. Now we're up to the thanks.
Poor David as well, we totally ran past him, like lightning speed.
Yeah, he was actually gonna go and try and help. But yes, it's sort of been more sympathetic to him and less to Jefferson.
Good, because in a sense it makes him have a more complex character. I was a bit worried he was going to be two-dimensional.
Yeah. Partners, girlfriends, boyfriends, husbands, wives, relatives, children, and friends who share their lives with don't nodders.
Or don't nodders, as I believe it might be pronounced.
And then we've got thanks for playing.
So, thanks for watching. So let's see what people picked.
Most people said told her to wait for proof, even though it's kind of comes across as the more negative option.
Well, perhaps that's because, like me, they thought do one then the other.
Yeah, I think that's good. It's not mutually exclusive.
But I think we said go to the police because then there'll be a record of her having gone to the police.
Yeah, which does actually count. So you answered Kate's call, which is nice to see. 80% of people don't cave in to Chloe's bullshit.
You tried to shoot Frank? You didn't try to shoot Frank. I believe we did a supposition.
We did both. Yeah.
A superposition of trying to and not trying to shoot. We did both.
But we stuck with we didn't.
So, that's an interesting choice of wording there. Can we wrangle it so that we can't save Kate? It looks like that's the case.
I'm assuming some of the people who weren't very good, 70% of people who didn't give Kate a good answer, and then 20% of people who didn't answer her call. They didn't help her at all.
That last one there reminds me of the bit in Silent Hill Shattered Memories, where you're asked to assign blame.
I don't remember this, but tell me.
Yeah, he tells a lovely story, Dr. Kaufman tells a lovely story about how a bull killed a princess. Who was more responsible for it? Was it the bull? Was it the
princess?
Woman?
Was it the prince? Was it the king? I think I remember, yeah.
Yeah. And in the end, we blamed Canada.
But it's interesting to say overwhelmingly people are blaming Nathan.
Because, root causes. Yes, the others were involved. Yes, there is plenty of blame to go around. But root cause, Nathan, drugs.
It's also one of those things where it's like, is that going to affect what do not then do? Are they then going to, because Mr. Jefferson is the least suspected, make him the bad guy?
Well, that's the thing, is that I think we're hardly the only people who are going, it's Jefferson, he's the only one who doesn't have an immediately apparent flaw. So he's the only one who isn't either too young or too much of a douche to be obvious, so it's obviously going to be him.
If it's alright to talk about spoiler theories.
Well, there can't be spoilers because they're probably not true.
One of the things I've heard, because Kate's conversation with Max, was that Nathan drugged her and then there was an older guy there, which is why she thought that they were in hospital. One of the theories that I've read is that Nathan is either involved with Mr. Jefferson or David or another third older guy, and that it's not just him, and he's working at their behest, potentially.
Or if it's in true Twin Peaks fashion, then one of the characters merely a conduit for the darkness which lives in the woods.
Should I go along?
I do think there is something to say that we definitely have all the players arranged on stage, though. Yeah. But yes, proceed.
And then we've got everyone wanted the practically. Alessa is sort of a 50-50 split.
And I think that's
again.
just because people don't notice.
And nearly 100% erased the ink of Kate's video, which is nice to see.
And they even erased the link.
You weren't friendly or were friendly with Taylor. I didn't even really construe it as being friendly or not friendly. It was when we were talking to her outside by the tree.
Well, I think by weren't friendly, it just means not friendly. It doesn't mean necessarily unfriendly. It doesn't mean aggressive or nasty. It just means not friendly.
We were the minority of Warren's invitation, though like I said, I think that's the better option if you're getting in the way of him and Brooke when we're genuinely not interested.
I suspect if you pick the other option, you don't get the bit about not leading them on. Because he hugs you at the end during the eclipse, but that's
that can be a friendship thing.
Yeah.
And we wrote a message, which plenty of people did.
What message, what?
When we were in Chloe's den in the junkyard, there was Chloe was here, Amber was here, and then Max was here.
Right. Oh, was it here? As people say.
So we didn't tamper with the rail racks. Rail racks?
Rail tracks.
Does that say track?
Yes, rail tracks.
It's just such a small line on the T, which is interesting because, yes, I was a bit worried with some of the more extreme options that we could take. Like, we could literally throw things on the line, that would be really important later.
See, now what I'm worried about here is that I'm not seeing a you chopped Chloe's leg off option, which I suspect means that we can't chop a leg off. That's pants.
We didn't gain entry to the Vortex Club party, but again, I think that helps consistency-wise, because why would we want to?
Actually, I'm interested that it's a minority choice. So, were people picking to go to the Vortex Club party to sleuth, do you think?
I think that could be an option, yeah. Also, we didn't tell Warren. We told him lots of potassium. I thought that was the right answer.
He seemed to be after a reaction. Maybe the not lots of potassium was the best option, but then it did give us the chance to do it again.
That's confusing.
I don't know. And I suspect helping Warren lets us get the picture. However, most people didn't help Warren.
Well, that sort of almost seems like a 50-50 split.
What we were supposed to do then?
Yeah, I really don't know. We'll find out. That'll be something we'll figure out. And most people actually told on David. Though it doesn't say whether they had the proof.
Well, I suppose that depends on a previous choice.
Yeah.
So already we're seeing a further branch out. So these are the choices we're making this, but our actions have consequences. It'll be interesting to see how many choices there are in the end. I mean, I'm not going to do the work. Screw that. Some other Let's Player can do it.
It'll be quite a long, far-reaching tree, though, yeah.
Yeah.
Should I continue again?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is for last time. I think.
So this is changing now. Episode.
Yeah, so we can just exit now. Yes, the next episode is Chaos Theory.
It will involve an RV, someone doing a Silent Hill, and then a house. That's
Chloe's house.
Chloe's house.
And yes, Frank's RV, and that looks like it's the school at night.
How can you tell it's a school?
Because of the look of the wide floor.
The mark of Samael in the middle of the courtyard.
Same as yes, there's a nice message at the bottom there saying if you're affected by it, there are support groups. Because yes, obviously suicide.
I'm affected by it, so some of that hit rather close to home.
Suicide is a serious topic.
Another serious topic, but not as serious. Actually, it's not serious at all. I was just going to say we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.